Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Thursday, March 16th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this would be a video for you. Next one, ticker symbol LYLT, and big explosion here, good solid volume, and in my mind, a good solid pattern here that you got to think a lot of people are watching. So let me be very clear. I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to imply that me drawing this pattern is some sort of great discovery or special skill. A lot of people have done this, and I say all that because when a lot of people are watching the same patterns and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movements. And the level here that, like I said, I think in my mind, a lot of people have drawn is in regards to that trend line right there. And then they've drawn some sort of support level down around here. But like I said, in my mind, it's all about that trend line right there. Let me actually change that to green to represent more so of a support dynamic of things. But as I said, guarantees, absolutely not. But is it valid to think that the price can turn around, come back up to that trend line and get the break up through it, that could create a nice, momentum in and of itself? Absolutely. And then for those of you that are, sticklers about patterns, I'll officially draw it for you. So you have your resistance, you have your support, you have the big move up like that, you have the golf hole down here to make it an official bull pennant pattern. And that's, the level that, I definitely keep an eye on this pattern here, especially if you like this pattern, plus you like the fact that it's a penny stock. Next one, ELEV. And at this point, it's not like chart's ruined. It's just, at this point, trying to play some sort of breakout. So I was going to, draw and talk about, okay, nice solid bull pennant pattern right here, which you can see right there. But the thing is, as I speak, the pattern has actually already been broken, which is okay, but it just means we now have a different question. So instead of the question being, can the pattern get a breakout? Well, the pattern's already gotten a breakout, which means we can now ask the fun question, is this breakout the start of something even bigger? Now, maybe it's not. Maybe this is a fake breakout. Maybe this thing, rolls right back over. But that is a two-sided coin because, maybe it is a bigger breakout. Maybe it is just the start of a new breakout, and this thing keeps ripping and roaring. So yes, technically speaking, if you like to play the breakout has already happened. But if you're somebody that doesn't mind that and likes to see if momentum or breakouts get more momentum and more continuation, then you do have the breakout underway right here. So yeah, breakout has occurred, but again, you get to ask that fun question of, is this the start of something even bigger? Let's see what happens. Next one here, AMC, and the bloodshed continues. But because it is such a popular stock, because there is such a cult following behind it, people will look for any and every reason to buy this thing. So it's worth at least always keeping an eye on from a trading standpoint, because yeah, it's been getting beat down, and yeah, it very well may be game over until that reverse split happens. But again, very popular stock. It's got a cult-like following, so worth keeping an eye on, because you never know when any sort of quality bounce could occur, which from a trading standpoint, that's all we need. We don't need some sort of massive reversal as traders to make money. Sometimes you just need a bounce. So in terms of levels to watch moving forward, key area of support now, and nothing fancy here, just literally a basic question of where did the bleeding stop today, and that was down there at 415. So keep an eye on 415 as that main area of support. And then in terms of areas of resistance, key level to watch going to be right there at that pattern, or excuse me, that trend line right there, which puts the breakout point right up there around $4.30, give or take a little bit. But yeah, it's a very basic premise. Popular stock getting absolutely destroyed, and can the cult-like following pop back in and create some sort of worthwhile bounce? Worth keeping an eye on if you like this price range. Next one, JNCE, and I like this last 30 minutes here that is forming, because you can see, yes, there was a pullback. And, when prices are pulling back like this, it always gets a little scary, because you can throw out the question of, is this one of these situations where the thing just drifts and drifts and drifts back into oblivion? And if you've traded long enough, I'm sure you've seen situations like that. But we did get our answer, and no, the price did not drift into oblivion. It at least started to go sideways. Now, let me be very clear. Just because the price starts to go sideways does not mean guaranteed, okay, the pullback's over, it's guaranteed ready to go back up. But is it at least plausible? Is it at least rational to think that maybe this pullback is over? Yeah, absolutely, especially when you combine that with the fact that this last 30-minute candle here is looking pretty good. So maybe, just maybe, the consolidation is over and this thing's getting ready to head back up. So in terms of areas of support, key level to watch now right down there at $1.43. You can see a few times price got down there, and every single time buyers showed up on the bid to support the price. If there is going to be any sort of, maybe more so stronger turnaround, the level that stands out to me, that trend line right there, which puts the breakout point right up there around $1.50. But yeah, overall, if you like to play stocks that get big moves and then have a pullback, and then maybe looking like the pullback is over and now starting to turn back itself around, certainly keep an eye on it. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering here very soon. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency, to manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up with. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Next one here, THMO, and same general idea of the one we just looked at. Big move up. You had this scary moment here where it's pulling back, but at least now did start to get the sideways action. Got a little bit of an upwards move here, which brings about the question of, okay, is this pullback finally over? Is this thing getting ready to come back to life again and make another nice move? So on that note, I'll just map out the key levels. So in terms of supports, we're found a bid several times right there at 365. In terms of levels of resistance, the key level that's going to need to be broken up as it fights to the upwards direction right there at $4.35. So I'm not going to repeat everything. Essentially, I just went over it with that previous one. But yeah, if you like this sort of price range, you like these sort of dynamics, certainly keep an eye on it. Next one, TSLA Tesla, and one of my favorites to trade. And overall, it could be worse, it could be better, but all things considered, given how crazy the markets have been, like I said, I would say it's holding up there just fine. But in all actuality, not a whole lot of movement. I mean, it's moving, sure, but not in any sort of, massive way. But that's the thing with Tesla. You never know when the thing might open back up again, which is what makes, yes, this level up here still very relevant. But in the very near term, the level that I'm curious about now is going to be this trend line right here that looking like it's got a good chance of potentially coming into play here on Thursday. Puts the breakout area right up there around the 182.50 mark, give or take a little bit. So keep an eye on that general area. If the price does come down, then the first level to watch, and I can't remember if I mentioned this in yesterday's video, but if I didn't, definitely watch that purple line there, 50-period moving average. You can see just a classic example of the power of charts. Look right how it found some support right at that level right there after having been in an area of resistance. So just classic example, resistance now acting as support. But even if that purple line is broken, you do still have that level down there, that green line at the 175 mark. So keep an eye on that, those levels in terms of supports. But yeah, in terms of resistances, first key level going to be right up around 192.50. And then after that, see if that breakout can generate enough momentum to carry it up to that 186 mark. Next one, BIHL, and big beat down on this one today, although got a little bit of sideways movement. And let me squeeze this down here just so you can see the overall context here. In fact, let me just get rid of these lines up here as they serve their purpose for now. But the one dynamic here that I'm very curious about is, can this level here continue to hold, which is right here at $4.80. If you look back here through the history of things, maybe harder to see since it's squeezed down, but this was an area of support right there. And then surprise, surprise, area of support right here, which just brings up the question, is this some sort of double bottom pattern? No, it may not be. So don't go all in because there are no guarantees, but is it at least plausible? Is it at least valid to think that maybe this is some sort of double bottom? Now, I'm not saying by any means that it's going to make that sort of move, but let's say it even goes up half of that amount. I mean, relative to what's being risked, so this, of course, assumes that you're going to be disciplined, you're going to manage stop losses and all that good stuff. But compared to what's being risked, if you get even a modest bounce, then your reward is much larger than what would need to be risked based on the current, pattern right here. So if you're somebody that likes this price range and you like, potential double bottom patterns, I'd certainly keep an eye on it. Next one, FRC, and this one remains in the news, remains very volatile. And now it's getting to a level that, going back to the talking points I've mentioned earlier, I'm not trying to impress you. This is not a special skill. You got to think that a lot of people are going to be watching this level right here at, let's just call it $29.50. If you go through the history of things, you can see this level acted as support. This morning, acted as support. This afternoon, acted as support. And with this last 30 minutes, once again, getting within striking distance. So for people that like to short, people that like to play puts, brings about a very, very valid question of, okay, is this price headed back down there? And if it fails and breaks, is that going to create another rollover type movement where it just comes back down to lows? But to be fair, there's also probably going to be some longs out there that are saying, well, what are you talking about? It's bounced 4 times before. So I think that it's going to bounce up from that area. That's also a fair point. I see both sides of the argument, but that's why risk management matters, because somebody's going to be right, somebody's going to be wrong. And if you are wrong, hey, welcome to the club. Nobody's going to be right all the time, but you better be managing that risk. But the underlying dynamic here is that 29.50, I think, is going to be a very, very important level for Thursday. Next one here, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ. So if you believe that the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to rise, this one will also rise. Big difference being this one just gives you access at a much lower price point, which makes it very popular. And you got to give credit to the NASDAQ as a whole. Very, very impressive over the past couple of days. Granted, the big reason, at least in my, estimation, is because the bank stocks are not part of this, and the banks are what's getting destroyed. But as the overall markets have gotten dragged down, the NASDAQ hasn't exploded, but it certainly hasn't been dragged down like these other ones. And, today just illustrates that, which now is putting it at a very interesting situation as far as at least this trend line here is concerned, because you can see it's getting quite close to being within that range of breaking through that area, which I'm going to put that resistance up there around $23.50. And again, no guarantees, but I mean, just this action here, higher lows as time has gone by, it just makes it feel like, is this some sort of coiled spring that's getting ready to potentially get up there and make the move through? So worth keeping an eye on that dynamic if you like to play those sorts of, breakout situations. But just from an overall health perspective, ideally from a support standpoint and just, Clay, what would make this chart look the healthiest moving forward? That would be if the price can stay above those lows right there at 2190. Because as long as it goes above there and stays above that level, then that quote-unquote stair step would still be higher than those other ones that I had drawn in there. So I would consider 2190 an important level of support for that reason. But like I said, I think the most interesting, the most exciting dynamic is whether or not these higher lows are forecasting a move back up to that trend line. And if it does get up to that area, can it break through? Grab your popcorn, grab some Sour Patch Kids, and let's see what happens. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for the free live training. As I said, it'll be very soon, Thursday, March 16th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please do two things. It helps out me, helps out the channel. Hit the like button, leave a comment below. Tell me what you traded today. Tell me what you're watching tomorrow. Those two things, like I said, help out the channel, and I appreciate it, and I thank you in advance. So definitely get signed up for that free live webinar. Hit the like button, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.